You were taught the world was safe, that science had it figured out, that death was fair and chaos was rare. But what if that's not true? What if there are numbers that prove otherwise? Like how your chances of dying spike on your birthday, or that we've injected people with plutonium and never told them. These aren't myths, they're real, documented, disturbingly overlooked. Let's begin. You're more likely to die on your birthday. You might want to cancel your birthday plans. Statistically, you're more likely to die on your birthday than any other day of the year. A 2012 Swiss study analyzed over 2 million deaths and found a 13.8% increase in mortality on the exact day people were born. Heart attacks, strokes, and suicides all spike. The phenomenon known as the birthday effect has been linked to stress, alcohol, and even psychosomatic triggers. No one knows exactly why, but it seems even your own body doesn't want to celebrate. Your brain stays aware after decapitation. When the French Revolution used guillotines, observers claimed to see blinking, eye movement, even attempts to speak, and they weren't wrong. Modern neuroscientists believe the brain remains active for up to 7 seconds after decapitation. That's 7 seconds of knowing exactly what happened to you. 7 seconds of silence. 7 seconds of horror. People were buried alive often. In the 18th and 19th centuries, being declared dead didn't always mean you were. So often, in fact, they started designing safety coffins, completed with breathing tubes, bells, and escape hatches, just in case you woke up underground. There's real reports of claw marks found inside caskets, and sometimes the bell actually rang. Hearing is the last sense to go when you die. You might not see them, you might not feel them, but you can still hear them. In 2020, researchers discovered the auditory cortex remains active even after the heart has stopped, meaning if you die in a hospital, you might still hear every single word they say over your body, even the ones they think you'll never remember. If the sun exploded, you wouldn't know for 8 minutes. If the sun were to vanish, explode, or collapse, we wouldn't even know. Not right away anyways. It takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for sunlight to reach Earth. So for 8 minutes, we'd be living like everything was normal. Smiling, driving, making plans, until everything just stops. Doctors used to treat schizophrenia by removing parts of the brain. In the 1940s, a man named Dr. Walter Freeman traveled the US performing lobotomies, often with an ice pick and a hammer. He slid the metal rod through a patient's eye socket and twist. This was mainstream medicine. Over 2,500 people were operated on by Freeman alone. Some were left in a vegetative state. Others died. Krubera Cave in Georgia stretches over 7,000 feet into the earth. It's so deep that sound dies, swallowed by the rock. Explorers say radio's cut out, breathing echoes for miles. If something goes wrong down there, no one hears you. A woman's body was discovered inside a hollow tree with no way in or out. In In 1943, boys playing in Hagley Wood, England, found a woman's skeleton stuffed inside a wych elm. Her hand had been sawed off and buried nearby. To this day, no one knows how she got inside, but graffiti keeps appearing. Who put Bella in the wych elm, even 80 years later? Some mummified remains have blinking eyelids, even centuries later. In Palermo, Italy, lies the mummy of Rosalia Lombardo, a 2-year-old girl who died in 1920. Nicknamed the Sleeping Beauty, her body is so well preserved, she still has eyelashes, and sometimes her eyes open. Scientists say it's just light and temperature changes, but visitors swear they've seen her blink. There's a suicide forest where hundreds of bodies are found yearly. Nestled at the base of Mount Fuji lies Aokigahara, a forest so silent it swallows your footsteps. Locals refuse to enter it after dark. Since the 1950s, it's become a magnet for the lost, with over 100 suicides a year at its peak. Police stopped reporting the exact number to avoid encouraging more. Your DNA can survive in the air you breathe and be used to identify you. It used to take blood, spit, or hair to track someone. Now, scientists can extract full DNA profiles from the air you exhale. It's called environmental DNA, and it's already being tested in hospitals, subways, even forests. You leave a genetic fingerprint behind everywhere, even when you think you're alone. Some patients stay conscious during surgery, but can't scream. Imagine waking up during surgery. You feel everything, the blade, the tug, but the paralytic drugs keep your body frozen, your mouth sealed. This real condition is called anesthesia awareness, and it affects 1 in every 19,000 patients, but many never report it. In 2013, a skeleton was found chained inside an abandoned medieval well. In the ruins of a 14th century Italian castle, archaeologists unearthed a chained skeleton, wrist bound to iron loops, neck fractured, no records, no name. A silent prisoner that had been forgotten about for centuries. Historians believe they were sealed alive. The body of a man was used for years in a haunted house ride, until someone realized it was too real. In 1976, a film crew shooting inside a California haunted house prop ride noticed something off. One of the mannequins hanging from the ceiling was too human. When they touched it, an arm broke off, revealing actual bone. The body was Elmer McCurdy, a 1911 outlaw whose corpse was sold, passed around, and forgotten until he became part of the ride. A man was executed by being slowly sawed in half, upside down. In the 17th century, some executions in the Ottoman Empire were designed to maximize suffering. One method was sawing the victim in half, starting at the groin while hanging them upside down. The blood rushed to their brain, keeping them conscious longer. It wasn't just torture, it was a spectacle. A family's baby monitor picked up a stranger's voice whispering to their child. In 2015, a Washington couple reported something chilling. Their baby monitor hacked. They heard a man's voice whispering, "Wake up, little boy," followed by laughter. When they rushed in, the camera swiveled to face them. No one was ever caught. No one knows how long he'd been watching. In 1961, doctors secretly injected prisoners with radioactive chemicals. Without consent, the US government exposed over 100 prisoners to radioactive isotopes to study the effects of radiation on human bodies. Some were injected directly into their bloodstreams. They were told it was for routine tests. Many later developed aggressive cancers. The program remained secret for over 30 years. A nuclear scientist's body was so radioactive, he was buried in a lead-lined coffin. In 1941, physicist Louis Slotin accidentally triggered a nuclear reaction during an experiment nicknamed tickling the dragon's tail. The blast hit him with a lethal dose of radiation, and over 9 days, his body rotted from the inside out. At his funeral, they placed his corpse inside a lead-sealed coffin, then buried under concrete. Even in death, he was a threat. In 2008, a man was beheaded on a Greyhound bus in Canada while passengers watched in horror. 22-year-old Tim McLean was asleep when his seatmate Vince Lee suddenly pulled out a knife and began stabbing him over and over. People ran, the bus was locked down, but Lee didn't stop. He decapitated Tim and began eating parts of him right there in the aisle. Lee claimed he was obeying God's orders to stop an alien invasion and was later found not criminally responsible due to untreated schizophrenia. He was released in 2017. Some gravestones have windows, so the dead could be seen. Victorian families feared spiritual disconnection, so they built viewing vaults, installing windows in graves so they could see their loved ones. Bodies were dressed, posed, and placed behind glass. Some were even lit by candlelight. Today, most of these windows are blackened by mold and time. But if you wipe the glass, you might still see them. A man felt a pop in his head and found out he'd lived with a tapeworm in his brain for years. Yared Vasquez, a man from Texas, suffered migraines, seizures, and hallucinations for years. Doctors assumed it was stress until a scan revealed the truth. A tapeworm living in his brain. It had been there for over a decade, slowly feeding. One wrong movement and it could have killed him. There is a pit in Russia nicknamed the Well to Hell, and some claim it recorded screams from below. In the 1980s, Russian engineers drilled over 40,000 feet into the earth in Siberia. What they found wasn't magma. It was a chamber of empty darkness. So deep their tools failed. One recording, allegedly taken from the pit, contains inhuman wailing. No one knows what it actually captured. The well was abandoned and sealed shut. In a real government experiment, prisoners were unknowingly given LSD for 77 straight days. In the 1950s, under Project MKUltra, US scientists tested LSD on inmates at the Lexington Narcotics Hospital. One man, an inmate named Harold Blur, was dosed daily for 77 straight days. He wasn't told. He thought he was receiving treatment. By the end, his mind was fractured, and he later died. No one was held responsible. There's a body farm where corpses rot for science. In Knoxville, Tennessee, there is a facility run by the University of Tennessee called the Anthropological Research Facility, better known as a body farm. It studies human decomposition by leaving real, donated corpses to rot in various conditions, in trunks, buried, underwater, or exposed to the elements. The research has revolutionized forensic scientists, helping investigators determine time of death, decomposition stages, and even how insects and animals interact with bodies. You've just heard 25 reasons to sleep with one eye open. Not every horror story needs a ghost. Some of the darkest ones are real, hiding in the margins of news reports, science journals, and forgotten headlines. These facts unsettled you? Good. That means you're still paying attention. Because the world is full of strange, quiet terrors. Most of us scroll past them, but not here. This is Voided, where the things you're never supposed to know get louder. Until next time, sleep tight.